Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing the characteristics or the qualities of a Siddhadev Muni. It is said that more things are caught than taught, and therefore, when we see the principles of dharma in action, in the activities of the devotees of the Lord, that not only gives us faith and inspiration that this is how a devotee of the Lord is, but it also teaches us how to implement or imbibe these principles in one's life. So therefore Arjuna's question is very pertinent here. When Arjuna is talking about the symptoms of a great devotee of the Lord, Sita Pragya or a Siddhadev Muni, so you see here Arjuna is asking Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and what is how does he walk? Srila Prabhupada speaks in the purport that as a rich man has his symptoms by which we can know he is a rich man, just like a diseased man has his symptoms by which we can learn, we can understand that this man is diseased. In a similar way, a man in transcendence has his symptoms, specific symptoms. And by that we can judge the transcendental spiritual acumen of a divine personality. And by that we can also understand whether we have understood the principles of Krishna consciousness or not. The principles of dharma should manifest, or imbibition of the principles of dharma should manifest in certain symptoms. And that is why Arjuna is asking that such a devotee of the Lord, how does he speak? What is his language? So sit is equated to sitting is equated to restraining oneself. Okay, which kind of activities such as Siddhadev Muni restrains from? He sits. And how does he walk? Walk means in what kind of activities he engages in. So therefore Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. And Prabhupada is saying a fool goes undiscovered as long as he doesn't speak. And therefore, it says here, the immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is he speaks only of Krishna and of matters related to him. So now speech is of two kinds. One is the words which are uttered, and the second kind of speech is the speech through actions. So this verse should not be equated to the understanding that Siddha Pragya or Siddhadev Muni is a big time preacher, and he is just giving seminars or katha day and night. Siddha Pragya actually, in all his actions, the glory of Krishna is radiated. This is called as Siddha Pragya. In all his actions, the Krishna's glory is radiated very profusely. And therefore, a Siddha Pragya is such a person whose life completely exposes the illusions and delusions which we may be dwelling into. And Siddha Pragya is such a person whose life completely reveals the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, just seeing such a person, just observing such a person, coming near such a person, all one's illusions can get exposed, and one can understand that yes, what we are trying to focus or grope into is simply illusions, but this is the reality. Therefore, the Siddha Pragya shows a mirror to Krishna, because he reveals Krishna, and he shows this is how a life centered around Krishna should be. So speech is not just words, but speech very much relates to actions. And therefore, engagement in practical devotional service is what engagement in practical devotional service is what establishes the presence of Krishna in people's hearts. So the next verse,
like this Siddha Pragya, transcendence, action, and not only in space in action, also not only while awake, while sleeping also. It's not like so much into that even body resting. Body not cooperating, still such a momentum cannot stop. External settings cannot stop.
So the next verse, Lord Krishna is telling, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is speaking here. This is Prajahati Praja Kaman Sarvan Partha Manohutan. The Lord is explaining, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise out of mental concoction, and when his mind thus purified finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desires subside without extraneous efforts. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation. For this devotional service will instantly help one unto the platform of transcendental consciousness. The Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has all the good qualities of the sages. Such a transcendently situated person has no sense desires resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he always remains happy in his natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. So you see, here we can see how now Arjuna has asked the question. In the first question, Arjuna is asking the Sita Pragya Muni or Sita Deer Muni, how does he speak? What is his language? So the question being asked is, how does he speak? And the Lord is answering that the Sita Pragya or a Sita Deer Muni is one who has given up all activities of sense gratification. So his activities are all he is active in his natural position of serving the Supreme Lord. That's how speech is not just words, but speech is deeds.
Speeches?
Deeds, actions. Deeds, actions. Srila Prabhupada is explaining here that you see, all kinds of desires for sex gratification, they engender from mental concoction. No doubt that in this world we are intoxicated, but our intoxication is primarily due to our imagination. We only imagine. It is only imagination. So this is, you see, this whole world is a game of imagination. So person not aiming for a particular type of sense gratification thinks that or imagines that this sense gratification will make me happy. Like say for example, people do weird kind of hairstyles or weird kind of fashions. So one is only imagining, if I do that weird hairstyle, if I do a weird hairstyle or if I do a weird fashion, then I'll be happy. And intoxicated like this, a person goes on adopting that particular hairstyle or fashion or dressing. And now the person wants to testify. So one is roaming around showing himself or herself, and others see, then others are seeing that okay, this is something out of the box. In the box there is no happiness. So maybe this is out of the box, there it is happiness. And therefore others are saying very nice. And when others say very nice, the person feels, oh, confirmed, I have got happiness. So the person, now why others are saying very nice? Because they know the box, in what is normal and routine, in what is common, in what is widespread, prevalent, there is no happiness. And therefore they also imagine that because this is little out of the box, probably it is happy. And therefore they are saying very nice. So imagination kicks off an activity, and it is imagination of others which resurrects this activity. And therefore this is a web of imagination. So one person imagines and does some crazy things, other people get inspired also. That way also it works. And they also start imagining and they also start working towards it. So therefore this is this crazy world. And that is why one of the most fundamental qualities of a Siddha Pragya, which is being mentioned here, is that a Siddha Pragya, he has given up the business of mental concoction. So because he has given up the business of mental concoction, how he can give up the business of mental concoction? By accepting and committing to the words of the spiritual master, to the words of the acharyas. So no imagination. That is a way to become a Siddha Pragya. Just like we see our present acharyas, they have taken the words of Srila Prabhupada as one with their identity. Yes. What is the difference between? Yeah, mental concoction is imagination. This will make me happy, that will make me happy. This is how it is. When we are not referring to any body of the scriptures or dharma or the acharyas, that is mental concoction, it's imagination. A devotee, a disciple does not think what is to be done. A devotee thinks how what my guru has said is supposed to be done. That is the point. So one does not imagine how one does not imagine a disciple, his worry, his anxiety is how to fulfill the words of the spiritual master, how to fulfill the words of the acharyas. That is the difference between meditation and mental concoction. That is the difference between meditation and mental concoction. Just like we are seeing the glorious example of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Whatever instructions Srila Prabhupada gave him, Maharaj till his last breath of his life was executing. So we were saying there was no retirement in Maharaj's dictionary. There was no retirement in Maharaj's dictionary. Srila Prabhupada made him a GBC in 1975, the GBC of India. Until 4th May in 2024, Maharaj, he lived as a GBC. Many of Srila Prabhupada disciples, when they were giving their offerings, they were saying that being a GBC is lot of pain and anxiety. Lot of pain and anxiety. It is a hellish experience. But Maharaj didn't give up. He didn't give up. This is so this is called as so we can see whatever Prabhupada gave him the seva of being a trustee of BBT, and till the end he was a trustee of BBT. This is so we can see Maharaj in his will was requesting all the devotees, don't try to take imaginary shortcuts towards.
I've never taken one step out of it.
Don't try to take imaginary shortcuts towards some advancement. Prabhupada has given us the way. The way is through ISKCON. Maharaj said, I never took any step out of ISKCON. Any step out of ISKCON. And therefore, Maharaj in his will was requesting and reiterating the devotees so Maharaj in his will was requesting and reiterating the devotees to remain in ISKCON. Maharaj is reiterating the devotees to stay in ISKCON, to serve in ISKCON, to serve under the directions of the senior devotees and the GBC devotees. And so we are seeing Maharaj was a Prabhupada man. So he stood for Prabhupada. He felt for Prabhupada's mission. He felt for Prabhupada's movement. Dairampu always glorifies Maharaj. Dairampu always says that I have never seen anyone and I'm more responsible than Krishna Maharaj. So Maharaj has such a feeling for Prabhupada's mission. He feels that as his own. Then he was giving the example in the offering also. Many times Dairampu says this. And he says that okay, there are places where Maharaj is GBC. Even when there are places where Maharaj is not GBC, when there is a problem, Krishna Maharaj will be there standing to resolve the problem. Just like in Hyderabad there was a problem. Maharaj is not GBC of Hyderabad. He went there. He came up with the answer. He heard, he understood. He tried his best. He came up with a new, he revived the management. Radhesham Prabhu was, or it was Maharaj who actually brought Radhesham Prabhu in the management in Hyderabad. Radhesham was not wanting. Maharaj told him that when you enter, then you can bring about some positive change. Radhesham Prabhu was saying. So actually, this is the point that it's a life without mental confusion. For that, one has to catch hold of the words of the spiritual master, the mission of the spiritual master, and not think anything beyond that. And this is the only way to give up sense gratification. Because sense gratification begins from mental concoction. And therefore one should be always busy in serving the words of the spiritual master. And this was Maharaj's constant meditation and anxiety. So many devotees were mentioning that so many devotees were requesting Maharaj to slow down.
To stay in Vrindavan also.
To stay in Vrindavan, just spend some days once in Vrindavan, or to stay in places where it is natural and Maharaj can relax and recuperate. So many devotees were telling Maharaj. But Maharaj would always say, please don't take away from me the privilege to serve Srila Prabhupada. So this is the point that a devotee, an advanced devotee, Sital Pragya, he is always very happy in his natural position as an eternal servant of Krishna. Maharaj has led such an exemplary example. Maharaj is demonstrating that no service in Prabhupada's mission, is no service in Prabhupada's mission is lower, or there is nothing what is painful, there is nothing what is there is nothing what is endearing, there is nothing what is painful. Whatever is required for the mission, a devotee is ready for that. So Maharaj has been so responsible. Many times some people say that only speaking, only chanting, or only speaking or discussing Krishna Katha, that should be that is the topmost service. But in ISKCON there are so much management, so much other, there are all these lowly services or low level services and things like that.
People think they are not direct services.
Yeah, these are not direct services, indirect services.
Gopis also manage Radha Krishna pastime.
So people think like that, and sometimes, and therefore sometimes people want to take shortcuts. Maharaj's life smashes all these bogus arguments. Maharaj's life completely smashes all these So Maharaj's life completely smashes all of these misconceptions. Because you see, the point is, when we chant and hear ourselves, there is some possibility or probability that we may become Krishna conscious. But Maharaj has proved through his life an example that when we follow the principles given by Srila Prabhupada, so that management, then thousands and lakhs of people become Krishna conscious. That is the point. When we individually only are thinking of, okay, I will chant and I will hear and I will read, that doesn't guarantee that we will also become Krishna conscious. Yes, there is a probability. But when we take pains and risks for the mission of Srila Prabhupada, then that guarantees that not only we will become Krishna conscious, but lakhs of people become Krishna conscious. That is the point. And Maharaj has proved that. So this is so amazing to see that, Maharaj's vision has been so much inspiring. Prabhupada had a vision of multiple temples in Delhi. Maharaj surpassed that vision. Prabhupada gave a number.
Because I think 10 or 14 purpose. Well, Prabhupada has done, this is the first class disciple. मतलब जितना बोला गया उससे ज़्यादा करके दिया.
So Prabhupada said around 10 temples.
10 or 14 something.
There are around 17 now. 18 temples in Delhi NCR. So Maharaj actually surpassed, and these temples are so gorgeous, and devotees are saying, so east of Kailash, Srila Parthasarathi Mandir itself is so gorgeous, and the further temples coming are also very gorgeous. Just recently Maharaj opened or inaugurated the Rohini temple, and that is even more gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, so many proper disciples were beautifying it. So the point is, you see, these gorgeous temples are such that these temples are such that one doesn't have to go out running behind people. Oh, people are coming in. I just have to sit and heartily serve them, and they'll become devotees. They are coming in themselves. In thousands. They are coming in temple. So the point is, the point is, you see, we may say direct, indirect, but this whole direct, indirect concept doesn't stand anywhere to the exhibition of this genuine Krishna consciousness.
Even that food for life, Krishna Prasad, Modi ji was able.
So this is the point actually. So Maharaj has proved there is nothing called as direct, indirect. There is nothing called as direct service, indirect service. Every service is transcendental service. And that is the point. We may sit down to chant, we may not be able to chant. Or we may sit down to really serve Srila Prabhupada in whatever Prabhupada has given us. One doesn't have to concoct. One doesn't have to concoct. one just has to follow. This is the nature of Asthita Tirupani. This is the nature of Asthita Tirupani. You see Delhi, Juhu, how it attracts people. So many people, thousands. And therefore, see the number of book distribution, the amount of book distribution. You see the amount of devotees.
लगेगा तो महाराज से अगर महाराज अभी जॉब से अटैच रहते अब महाराज मूवमेंट के लिए उस टाइम में कनाडा की जॉब छोड़ दी
Yes. So, this is called as the devotee is naturally blissful in his eternal position, serving Srila Prabhupada. And this was joy of Maharaj, that every temple of Srila Prabhupada would blossom. And therefore devotees were glorifying and devotees were telling that Maharaj was one such person who was ready to hear anyone. And any issues there in ISKCON, anywhere in the world, there is one person who would be ready to resolve it and not leave unless it is resolved. That was Gopal Krishna Maharaj.
And Maharaj wanted Shrutikirti Prabhu to visit all the temples Maharaj so that Prabhupada preferred going.
Yes. Shrutakirti Prabhu was explaining how Maharaj was wanting Shrutakirti Prabhu to visit all his temples. Maharaj is telling you, visit all my temples. Why? Because Shrutakirti Prabhu goes to the temple, then he speaks about Prabhupada. So Maharaj wanted that everyone hears about Prabhupada, develops that attachment to Prabhupada. And this is the nature of a Siddhagir Muni, that he has given up mental concoction. He has taken up the Guru's word as his very identity. And to expand on those words, he doesn't to expand on those words, he doesn't deviate or wander off. He doesn't evaluate. Everything is transcendental. There is no direct or indirect.
Whatever we are doing for Prabhupada is direct.
Every service in ISKCON is directly serving Radha Krishna in Vrajadham, in Vrindavan, not different.
Ritu Prabhu was telling book distribution, one Mataji story, she went to Radhakund, took some other mantra, then she stopped distributing books, then she saw a dream, Prabhupada took her with the hand, like, see, took her to Radhakund, there, she saw book tables, and Prabhupada distributing books, and Jivatma saying, please give me one, please bring her. Prabhupada is Radharani's man. The book distribution is Nikunjaya mantra,
Yes. Prabhupada was explaining, book distribution is Nikunja Yunorati Keli Siddhi. Book distribution. So, that is Nikunja Yunorati Keli Siddhi. So he was explaining when Mataji, how she got initiation. She was a book distributor. When she left, she went to Radhakund and took some Babaji type of initiation. And in her dream, the Lord came and took her to Radhakund. Prabhupada came and took her to Radhakund. She was seeing books being distributed. And people jivas are coming and wanting the books. Please give me one, please give me one. So she realized that this is Nikunja Yunarati Kelisiddhi. Prabhupada came in a dream and saved her. So so we should not get we should not land up in imaginations. This is high, this is low. No. There is no high, there is no low. Whatever is given by Srila Prabhupada is the highest. Is the highest. We may come physically to Vrindavan, we will not get access to Vrindavan. But when we serve in Prabhupada's mission, no. Then we get entrance, or we are actually participating in the most intimate pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And time is a proof, Maharaj has proved it. Maharaj has proved it. One who is not disturbed in his mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called as a sage of steady mind. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining this Siddhartha Muni is always in Krishna consciousness, for he has given up. He has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. He has exhausted all his business of creative speculation. Srila Prabhupada said, do as I did and preach as I preached. Amisha, how could he be so confident? Na? Because he did as what Srila Bhakti Sansar Thakur did. So therefore, that is the point. And therefore, Siddhartha Muni says he has surpassed the stage of mental speculations. He has come to the conclusion that Lord Krishna is everything. So, what is the symptom that one has come to this conclusion that Lord Krishna is everything? Prabhupada explains in the purport that the symptom of such a person who has concluded that Lord Krishna is everything, such a person will be always active for the service. And therefore it is said, Prabhupada is saying, and for the service of the Lord, such a devotee is always daring and active, and he is not influenced by attachment or aversion. Not that I like this, I don't like this. This is easy service and this is not so easy service. This is an easy area, this is a difficult area. Devotees are explaining that Prabhupada very desperately wanted a GBC for India. Especially after Tamal Krishna Maharaj went back to USA to lead the Radha Damodar bus party, which created wonders. But there was no one for India. And it is explained that Prabhupada got 3 devotees, wonderful, glorious devotees, but they did not stay on. They resigned very fast. And then Prabhupada brought His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj in 1975, and then he made him the GBC for India. And Maharaj took it up. So India was very difficult to crack those days. And therefore, but Maharaj took it up, and he took up all the challenges, and he took up all the brunts, and he took up and painstakingly, and therefore Devakinandan Prabhu was mentioning that ISKCON India, there are only 2 pillars, foundational pillars. There was His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj in North India, and there is His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj in South India. So, and they have, and ISKCON India, preaching has, overwhelming preaching has happened just because of the dedication and the sacrifice. So for the service of the Lord, a devotee is always daring and active, and he is not influenced by attachment or aversion. And Prabhupada is explaining, attachment means accepting things for one's own sense gratification, and detachment is the absence of such sensual attachment. So the problem is when we accept things for our own sense gratification. But when we accept things for Krishna, there is no problem. There is no problem. And then Prabhupada is explaining success or no success. A Krishna conscious person is always steady in his determination. Many devotees were explaining that success doesn't come so easily. A lot of struggle and sacrifice has to be made, and everyone has done that. And devotees are explaining that even Maharaj did not get success so easily. A lot of struggles he had to go through. A lot of price he had to pay. But a devotee, the nature of a devotee is he is always steady in his determination. He is always steady in his determination.
Preaching in Pakistan, preaching in Russia, and some one country name, they were saying that Maharaj, Bibi Govind Maharaj was so happy. And there is a country only, वहाँ कोई नहीं जाता था, but Bibi Maharaj जाके प्रचार किए. And the disciples are so nice, they treat Bibi Govind Maharaj also so well, so well.
Yes. So yes, each and every proper desire, you see, Maharaj made his life. So, Satyanarayana was mentioning how the Prabhupada had said anybody who's preaching to Muslim countries, I take the dust of their lotus feet. The Prabhupada emphasized, Prabhupada wanted, and therefore Maharaj took it up, preaching in Pakistan, preaching in many countries in Central Asia, all Stan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, what else? So all of these countries, Maharaj made it a point to go and preach there. 4 months a year he would spend in those countries. Yeah. Entire Soviet Union. And one time, Indradanda Maharaj was mentioning, one time they went to a very remote place in Soviet, thinking that okay, we'll start preaching here. When they went there, they were shocked to see that already devotees are there. Gopal Krishna Maharaj is already cultivating a community, he's already made devotee community there. This is so amazing. And therefore Maharaj went to, Gopal Krishna Maharaj went to Russia in 1976, smuggling Srila Prabhupada books into the country. Smuggling Srila Prabhupada books. Smuggling Srila Prabhupada books into the country. And since then, Maharaj never stopped going to Russia. Yeah. Maharaj speaks Russian.
Russian Maharaj speaks very nice.
Maharaj picked up Russian. Maharaj picked up French.
Maharaj is sannyas sister from Russia. Bhakti Ratnagaram Varish Maharaj.
He would give lectures in Russian language.
Maharaj is wonderful, amazing lectures. Full solid, full on high spark. Russian.
He would give lectures in French. Maharaj knew Urdu. Urdu?
Yes, Urdu Bhagavad Gita. Urdu Bhagavad Gita to proofreading में सत्यनारायण Urdu और family आते थे.
So this is so therefore for the service of the Lord a devotee is always daring and active. He doesn't say this is difficult, this is easy.
मंदिर में दुकान है उसमें बीबीटी FEME लिखा है फार ईस्ट मिडिल ईस्ट बट एरली वो आज से जब
क्या है इधर?
एरली बहुत दिखता है स्पेशली
Yes. So Prabhupada, this was pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, and therefore
Urdu is a different language. सत्यनारायण Prabhu बोला, फिर भी गुरु महाराज उर्दू में Bhagavad Gita.
and therefore Maharaj did it.
पाकिस्तान preaching, that's बहुत बढ़िया glorification है, दिल्ली वाले सुनने लगते हैं.
Further it is explained. This is text 57. In the material world, one is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain. So in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it. Such a person is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So Prabhupada explained there is always some upheaval in this material world which will be good or evil. But one who is always fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good, absolute. So this is the point, that not only one should tolerate the good, we become very elated when there is good, but the Sthitapragya doesn't just accept the good. The Sthitapragya, even evil, he doesn't take it very seriously. Sometimes people make a big hue and cry, there are problems in ISKCON. So what if there are problems in ISKCON? Sometimes people say that, okay, I got hurt, I was misunderstood, I was hurt. So what? If some mistakes happen, and because of that, and we may and we become the recipient of the mistake or the neglect or the wrong decision, it still is not that serious. What is more serious is the pleasure of the spiritual master. What is more serious is the pleasure of Krishna. So are we ready to be to serve in spite of being neglected, criticized, misunderstood? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains Sarvasya Tomar Charane Sampiya. He explains that this is the mode of a devotee. That you see, I am your dog, and whatever way I am treated, I will always stand outside your door, ready for your command, protecting and the place from any attacks from any enemies. If I get some remuneration, I am grateful, but I will never leave. That's what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks. So many times people talk about remuneration, but you see, this remuneration is a misleading term. Acknowledgement or remuneration, this is also a misleading term, because you see, the greatest remuneration is the opportunity to continue to serve. Maharaj has shown this by his example. The greatest remuneration is to live as a warrior and to die as a warrior. A warrior in Srila Prabhupada's army, in Srila Prabhupada's mission. That is the point. Yes. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that in Atma Nivedanam, whatever troubles and pains are executed in your service, that is my greatest wealth and treasure. I remember Acharya Prabhu had made us get association of His Holiness Bhakti Samrit Maharaj, and Maharaj was hearing all our desires of projects of college and research, and Maharaj was hearing with great intent, and then Maharaj was telling, oh, this is very nice, so you want to do this projects for Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj said, okay, this is very nice, and a lot of problems will come. Maharaj said, that was his first statement. He said, very nice, you want to serve Prabhupada in this big way, lot of problems will come. Maharaj said, lot of problems will come, but don't give up. Lot of problems will come, but don't give up. Maharaj said, don't give up. would give up. So this is the point. Text 58. So the Lord is explaining now in 58 how does he sit? How does he sit? No? So sit means restraint. Sit also means situated. How is he able to situate himself so steadfast in Krishna consciousness? Now Krishna is explaining. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, just like a tortoise draws its limbs within the shell. Such a person is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. So it is said the test of the yogi or a devotee or a self-realized soul is that he is able to control the senses according to his plan. Unless one is able to follow the do's and don'ts, Prabhupada says, restricting oneself from sense enjoyment, it is not possible to be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. Maharaj did not give up any principle which Prabhupada had given. Maharaj's hallmark identification is 4:30 Mangal Arati. Maharaj is doing deity service in the temple altar. That is a characteristic hallmark of Gopal Krishna Maharaj throughout life. And then he had his own deities. He would serve the deities. So, therefore, you see, each and every principle which Prabhupada has given us is foolproof. And if we engage in that way, we will be protected. We will be protected. So therefore, one should be ready to follow. One should be ready to follow. No? That sincerity, that dedication. And we were hearing in Maharaj's offering that even when Maharaj came to Krishna consciousness in Montreal, very new, each and every picture, photograph of Krishna he would offer obeisances, not just to deities. Each and every picture of Krishna he would go in the temple and offer obeisances. That was his early days actually, Maharaj. And you see, the point is that now the Lord is going to explain further that you see, the point is therefore this engagement in Krishna consciousness is what ensures the restriction of the senses. So yes, I know the Lord is giving this beautiful analogy of the tortoise, and the Lord is saying that yes, the tortoise can take away all his senses. Similarly, a devotee keeps his senses withdrawn and he only takes out his senses for a specific purpose in the service of the Lord. Prabhupada speaks that in the service of the Lord. So therefore we will see, see now when we talk about restriction of senses, one may say, oh, it is impossible, very difficult, how to restrain senses? And the Lord is acknowledging that the restriction of the senses, very difficult. It is restricting the senses. It's like it's like a high tide of the ocean, and then one is trying to restrict it. Can one restrict the wave of an ocean? Very difficult. And the Lord is acknowledging, and therefore the Lord is telling only by. Therefore the Lord says, "This is Vishya Vinivartante Nirahars." Param Drishtva Nivartate, the Lord Krishna is explaining. Though the embodied souls may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for the sense object remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So one may restrict artificially, but the taste remains. And therefore, one can only cease by experiencing higher taste. So Prabhupada says in the purport, unless one is transcendentally situated, it is not possible to cease. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations just by is something like a disease. So diseased person is told not to eat some eatables. Neither he likes those restrictions, nor he has lost his taste for the eatables. And therefore, Prabhupada is saying restrictions are for the less intelligent neophytes. But restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. And how one can develop that taste for Krishna consciousness? Only when one is daring and active for the service of the Lord. Only when the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord can the senses get that taste. Only when the mind is engaged in the service of the Lord can one get that taste, higher taste. So the difficulty in many of our Krishna conscious practices is because of not sufficiently engaging in service of the Lord. Because sufficient engagement in the service of the Lord will give the higher taste, and that higher taste will make the taste of sense gratification, the petty materialism, pale.
Sushtu Vikar.
Yeah, the taste of sense gratification very pale. So therefore, sorry, this is 59, yes? Yes. So in 60, the next verse, now, Indrayani Pramarthini. The senses are so strong and impetus, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind of a man of discrimination who is trying to control them. The senses are very strong. So, and therefore, therefore one has to intensify one's engagement in Krishna consciousness. And that is why a disciple should always meditate on the instructions of the spiritual master, fulfilling the desires of the spiritual master. Fulfilling the desires of the spiritual master. So as Gopal Krishna Maharaj had pioneered distributing billions of books, Srila Prabhupada books. The offering, there was the reading of the offering by the chairman of the Shri Sampradaya of India. And this Maharaj was telling that His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj is is a rare soul who, such souls like him, like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, they rarely visit the planet Earth. So, devotees are explaining how Maharaj was never satisfied. Maharaj would want to do more and more and more. Because if we don't do more and more and more for Srila Prabhupada, one can never get that higher taste. So therefore Prabhupada is saying Krishna consciousness is such a transcendentally nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. Just like a hungry man has got sufficient quantity of nutrition. Yes. Yes. And therefore, Prabhupada is giving the example of Yamunacharya, that famous verse, that when the thought of sense gratification comes, I spit at that thought. Why? Because in my mind always there are newer and newer thoughts of mellows of Krishna. And Prabhupada says that, okay, the example of Vishwamitra Muni, that he could not refuse the proposal of the heavenly damsels, and he got allured. So without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot cease material engagements, and the mind can only be engaged when one intensifies one's service for Krishna. And that is why Maharaj has shown us the way that one should never be satisfied in his service to Krishna. One should never be satisfied in his service to Krishna. And be always willing to do more and more for Prabhupada's service. And therefore, further 61, Lord Krishna is explaining that therefore one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, such a man is of steady intelligence. And Prabhupada is explaining that, you see, just like a fire burns everything inside a room, the blazing fire, similarly Lord Vishnu is kept in if it is situated in the heart, the Lord burns all kinds of impurities. So how to develop that personal relationship with the Lord? Matparaha means in this verse, one who is related to the Supreme Lord. So how to develop that relationship with the Supreme Lord? It is explained here that by engaging everything in Krishna's service, and the classic example of Amrish Maharaj is given, that how by engaging all his senses, his mind was fully engaged in Krishna. Savai manaha Krishna padar dayor. And that happens by that full engagement, one can get that taste, and then one will be able to restrain oneself from sense gratification. Now, if one doesn't do that, sense gratification spoils everything. And to explain that, the Lord starts speaking about Dhyato Vishayan Pumsaha. So 62, 63, the Lord speaks about Dhyato Vishayan Pumsaha. The very cycle how we get entangled. So take 62. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from this attachment the lust develops, and from lust anger arises. And Prabhupada is making the point, you see such a clear not direction. Prabhupada is saying that our senses require real engagements. We cannot dream of being a gopi in the spiritual world, or we cannot simulate or fantasize or virtual reality or whatever. That the senses require real engagements, and if they are not engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, they will seek engagement in the service of materialism. Prabhupada's clear, and therefore Prabhupada right from the beginning is saying there is no need of mental concoction. The senses require real engagements, and therefore deity seva, book distribution, prasadam seva, temple construction. These are real services. Our senses require that. If it is difficult, our senses will be more engaged. If it is easy, our senses may slip off. So here Prabhupada is giving the example of Lord Shiva. He agreed to the proposal of Mother Parvati for enjoyment, but Haridas Thakur could tolerate the provocation of because Haridas Thakur is engaged. And therefore Prabhupada is saying that one who is not Krishna conscious, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, he is sure ultimately to fail, because the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify the senses. So unless artificial repression is not going to work, that is the point. Artificial restraint may be okay for some time, but one may not be able to go on long with that. And therefore what is needed is the higher taste, and the higher taste will only come when we intensify our commitment towards real engagements in devotional service. Prabhupada is saying that real engagement in devotional service. Yes. So the that is why engaging in practical devotional service is very purifying. Our commitments should manifest in our behavior. Our commitment should manifest in our behavior. That is the secret of success, to serve with such a fervor that the mind gets absorbed. To serve with such a fervor that the mind get absorbed. When that happens, then one will start getting a taste, and that taste will make the taste of the material world pale and fake. So further continuing, the dhyato vishyan pumsaha, the Lord explains that from anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, there is bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, one falls down into the material pool. Yeah. Okay. A person in Krishna consciousness knows how to use everything in the service of the Lord. Therefore, he doesn't become a victim of material consciousness. So here Prabhupada is saying, now is quoting Rupa Goswami, Hari Sambandhi Vastunaha, that using everything in the service of the Lord. And Prabhupada is saying, see, a devotee in Krishna consciousness, he knows how to utilize everything in the service of the Lord. And because he knows how to utilize everything in the service of the Lord, he doesn't form a victim. So the dhyato is that lust arises, and lust takes the form of anger. And because of anger, the memory is there is a delusion. Memory is bewildered. So now how is this related to utilizing everything in the service of the Lord? So that is the point. See, a devotee. How is this related to utilizing everything in the service of the Lord? Yes, because the devotee doesn't become angry. Whatever one gets, one doesn't become angry. I remember a very beautiful pastime of Giriraj Maharaj. And Giriraj Maharaj had gone to one big industrialist for some donations. This industrialist, he said, okay, money I cannot give, but I have my car, and I can give my car for 4 hours if you want. So now one may be so frustrated hearing this, that what is this nonsense, this person not ready to give anything, such a fallen soul, and he's saying go get a ride for 4 hours in his car. He had a big some sort of posh car. So Maharaj did not become angry, did not become indignant. Maharaj was grateful for whatever is given, and Maharaj was praying to Prabhupada that okay, whatever is given, how can I use it in service further? So then Maharaj got an idea. So he had only 4 hours. So he took that car to some even bigger industrialist in his bungalow. Generally nobody, and he had never taken appointment. He had no contact. He didn't know how to enter, how to take appointment and all that. So he just drove that car. Maharaj got that car driven to that big bungalow apartment of that multi-millionaire industrialist. And just seeing the car, the sentries and the guards, they opened the gate. And here the car went right in. So that's the point. And right inside. And then Maharaj wanted to meet this industrialist. He was not there. And instead his grandson was there. Oh, Maharaj spoke to the grandson so nicely and made such a friendship with him, And that grandson said, okay, I will get you an appointment with my grandfather. Like that. And then Maharaj, and this grandson got the appointment. Maharaj met the grandfather then. And he gave a lot of donations. So the point is, and that is what Prabhupada is saying, that anger comes because of attachment for sense gratification. When one is always wanting to serve Krishna, anything he gets, little bit also, one will see how one can serve with it. This is a classic example Giriraj Maharaj demonstrated. That you see, he got a little bit, he didn't got any funding. He went to, he utilized that in the service and converted that into getting a big donation for Srila Prabhupada. So that is why a devotee does not become angry. Charu Maharaj used to say, Vaishnava can never become angry. Devotee doesn't become angry. Because whatever the devotee has, he can offer it to Krishna. It doesn't matter what we don't have. If we had that, we could have offered it to Krishna. But what we have right now, how much we are offering that to Krishna, that is called as bhakti. That is called as bhakti. Let's read further. So now he's saying this is raga dvesha mukti. So, but a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through the regulative principles of freedom can obtain complete mercy of the Lord. Yes, prasada ma vigacchati. The Krishna conscious person is concerned with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachment and aversion. A devotee doesn't say, I like this, I don't like this. Good seva, bad seva. Easy seva, not easy seva. No. It's transcendental to all attachment and detachment. So then the devotee is saying, if Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. So that is why Prabhupada is concluding, if this is the consciousness, that okay, Krishna is wanting this, and even though I never have done this particular activity, Krishna wants it, I will do it. And if Krishna doesn't want something which one would have normally done, one will not be doing it. So sometimes people say, oh, Krishna consciousness changes our ambitions. Yes. And that is a proof that we are actually giving up mental concoctions. So yes, because that which we would have done, so if for our own sense gratification, how can we continue to do that now that we have got that rare divine mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas? So therefore, Prabhupada is concluding that therefore to act or not to act is within the control of the devotee, because he only acts under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of his being attached to the sensual platform. So yes, we are not pure devotees, but still one can get this kind of consciousness when one rivets to following what is being told, being an obedient son of the spiritual master. Being an obedient son of the spiritual master of the Acharyas. So yes, Prabhupada's disciples, many of them received direct instructions from Prabhupada. We may not have received direct instructions, but yes, Prabhupada's instructions are very much there. So Prabhupada's books are instructing us, Prabhupada's disciples, their teachings are instructing us, their lives are instructing us. You see, Prabhupada disciples, their lives are instructing us. Their example is instructing us. Everything is instruction. We just have to accept and apply. That is the point. One who is not connected to the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can neither have transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be happiness without peace? Ashantasya kutaha sukham. Ashantasya kutaha sukham. So this is a clarion call. The Lord is saying, don't postpone Krishna conscious activities. Don't postpone service. Many times we keep postponing service for settling out material affairs. But here it is being said that if we don't have, Prabhupada is saying, if we don't have a clear-cut goal, one will not be able to control the senses. one will neither have transcendental intelligence nor one has steady mind. And therefore one will always be disturbed. Prabhupada is saying disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal. And only when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the proprietor, Krishna is the friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. So if one is not Krishna conscious, there is no final goal for the mind. The mind is flickering with here and there goal, and because there is no final goal, no ultimate goal, and therefore one is always disturbed. So this disturbance will not end unless we commit to the divine goal of service. And when one does that, then Prabhupada is explaining that Krishna consciousness is self-manifested peaceful condition, which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. So Krishna consciousness has to be goal oriented.
But I'm not told about Guru integrity and clarity.
Yes.
I feel like data clarity is success.
Krishna consciousness has to be goal oriented. If we do not struggle for a spiritual goal, we will never be able to get out of the pull of the material sense gratificatory desires. We will never be able to get out of these material sense gratificatory desires. And therefore, that goal is very important. So disturbance comes when we lose the clarity. That Krishna is the enjoyer, not me. Krishna is the proprietor, not me. And Krishna is my friend. Krishna is my friend. And therefore, as a sadhaka, as a devotee, one should hear and understand from the acharyas, and one should take targets. And therefore, as Bhaktivedanta Prabhu was explaining, that just like you see, when children are seeing that their parents are growing old, they should come forward and take responsibilities.
Instead of fighting.
They should come forward and take responsibilities. And unless we take that goal, so Maharaj, as well as Gopal Krishna Maharaj has demonstrated from his life that yes, every service in ISKCON is such a rare privilege, and one should take it up with commitment, with dedication, with determination. And this happens, naturally one will become peaceful, and naturally the divine ecstasies of the transcendental ecstasies will start outpouring. Naturally one will be drowned by the mercy of the Lord. That is Krishna consciousness, and that is the secret of success. And this is the very theme. So the restraining of the senses is the goal. Then the restraining of the senses doesn't come automatically. For that one has to struggle. Relentlessly struggle, without consideration of success or defeat. Struggle to engage in devotional service. Struggle to push forward the mission of the acharyas. Struggle to push forward the mission of the acharyas. And Maharaj had been such a relentless general in Prabhupada's army, and therefore uh, we uh, uh, and therefore we beg to Maharaj uh, to instill this kind of mood in our hearts as well, so we can be servant of the servant and humble instruments in hands of Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada to push forward the mission.
I'm not giving any personal ambition that doesn't align with the mission.
Yeah, and not giving any personal ambitions
Prabhupada
which
said
align with the mission. So, not keeping any personal ambition which aligns with the mission, yes. So, we'll just skim through the remaining, we'll just skim through the verses forward. What is it? It's not So we'll see 67. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a mind's intelligence. Therefore, we cannot be lazy in service. If we are lazy, the vision will become hazy and we will go crazy. So don't be lazy, you know. So yes, so if we are lazy, the vision will go hazy, so and we will become crazy. Even one of the roaming senses can sweep away the mind, and therefore Prabhupada is saying, unless all the senses are engaged in the service, even one of them engaged in sense gratification can deviate a devotee. Okay. Then Prabhupada is explaining further in 68. Therefore, O mighty aunt, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. And Prabhupada is again repeating that one can curb the forces of sense gratification only by means of Krishna consciousness, means engaging all the senses in the transcendental service of the Lord. As the enemies are curbed by superior force, the senses can be curbed not by any human endeavor, but by keeping them engaged in the service of the Lord. One who has understood this, that only by Krishna consciousness one is really established in intelligence, and one should practice this art under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That is a sadhaka, a suitable candidate for liberation. So therefore, what is night for all beings is the time for awakening of the self-control, and the time for awakening of all beings is night for the introspective sage. Further, the Lord is explaining, and therefore a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always very still, such a person can only achieve peace, not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires and who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he only can attain real peace. So Maharaj had explained Maharaj's will. Maharaj writes that, okay, I don't have any possession. My only possession is one Rolex watch Srila Prabhupada gave me. And that can be given to, and 2 mobiles, and 1 laptop, and my deities.
My deities are my only asset.
My deities are my only asset. So the deities can go to temples in my zones, my Rolex watch can go to one of my secretaries, and the laptop mobile also to the secretaries. And Maharaj says that, okay, I don't have any possessions. Nothing in my name.
My disciples have
Everything is in the name of Krishna.
want to make my house, but I don't want. I want
Uh,
that land.
I don't know any
Yeah,
land.
Sudas Prabhu had kept a land next to the temple here to make had to make a samadhi for Maharaj there. But Maharaj in his Vili wrote that land should be offered to ISKCON Vrindavan. I don't want anything separate for myself. This is this is Sitadir Muni, and only such a person can attain real peace. No, the only so one is full of desires for Srila Prabhupada. Then only one can be desireless on the sensual plane, and so this is the way of spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. So this is the only short way of entering into the kingdom of God. Entering into the kingdom of God. And Maharaj has shown by his life so much practical insights, that clarity, that dedication, that perseverance, that there is nothing high or low in Prabhupada's mission, and that direct devotional service is so very important. Is the only means by which one can actually develop that higher taste, and one can factually restrain one's senses, and that ensures that yes, by words, by deeds, one is glorifying Krishna, one is glorifying and extolling, radiating the glories of Krishna. That is dedication. So we'll stop here for today.
Proper direction is direction.
Yes. Do you have any questions? Okay, so we'll end here. Begging for prayers of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj to recruit us in this most glorious Srila Prabhupada's army. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Srila Prabhupada ki
आपको अलग से एक लेक्चर देना पड़ेगा
Hare